good evening and welcome to the Island Stats, EPL and Bermuda Overseas Footballer Show here on islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is none other than our co-hosts, Juggling Jason and Antoine Augustus. Well, gentlemen, it's been a very hard to describe Christmas period in English football for some teams. And amazing times for others. Let me just run down the latest results that we have from this past over the last couple of days. It was Leicester City 0, Manchester City 2, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Crystal Palace 2, Southampton 1, Tottenham 2, Wolves 2, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2, West Ham United 0, Liverpool 5, Ipswich Town 2, Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 2, Brighton Hove Albion 2, Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2. Well, we've seen the top of the table. We've seen those chasing Liverpool at the top of the table stumble. We've seen Nottingham Forest get themselves into a position of being in second with still Arsenal to play in a match tomorrow. But they can, if the result goes Nottingham Forest's way, they can end up in second place at the turn of the season. Now, last week we talked about that comparison with Nottingham Forest, didn't we, Juggler?
Yep. And who's on the score sheet again this week? Chris Wood, right?
Yeah. But the turnaround, I mean, we were talking about it, and I think both of you mentioned the fact that Nottingham Forest had a certain amount of points last season that survived 40, right? So with the result that they had over the weekend, they're on 37, 3 points away from what they got last season. So, right now you could say they survived. Now they're shooting for a spot in that top four. What? Let me ask you, Juggler, what's your thoughts? Let's talk a little bit about Nottingham Forest because they've been the surprise team thus far. After the performances of last season.
I mean, yeah, most definitely one of the surprise teams, and they talk all the time. Is you can have players, you can have the coaches, you can have systems, but at the end of the day, you need players on form.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't care how good the players are. Liverpool right now have 3 strikers that are basically on form. That's why where they are. Nottingham Forest has a striker who's on form. That's why that's where he is, right? He's got 11 goals. Salah's got 17. Haaland's got 14. Isaac, who scored today for Newcastle, he's on 12. Cole Palmer, 12. Chris Wood, 11. So you can see why those teams are where they are because they have a striker that's on form. Most part, if you get somebody on form and a goalkeeper who's making saves, chances are you're going to be closer to the top. Now, obviously, you can go through injuries. That happens to mostly all the teams. Who's been been on the luckier side when it comes to injuries.
Right.
But who knows? They could be 90 minutes or 2 minutes away from an injury,
That's
so
right.
The Nottingham Forest thing is more of form more than anything. They're playing, they're gelling well, their energy, they got a lot of energy. And they're taking the chances.
Antoine, let's talk a little bit about, from your point of view, a team like Nottingham Forest, because we harped on it last week, like we said. They were fighting for survival, and now it looks like they're fighting for, one could say, a league title.
No, it's crazy. Like you said, it's crazy. Is that it's English football. Any given Sunday, somebody can be in that position. Because a couple of weeks ago, wasn't Chelsea in that position? But Nottingham Forest, it's always been like I said, always been that team for the past, I would say, the last 3 seasons. They've been lagging around. They've been there. I think when they got promoted a couple of years ago, they've always been there. Um, so yeah, I honestly I really do. They're gonna be a dark horse. They're gonna be a
Mm,
dark horse. I can see them getting not Europa League, but at least conference league.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see them playing in Europe this year, next year.
Earl, I got a stat for you, Earl.
Yeah.
I got a stat for you. Just basic. How many clean sheets do you think Nottingham Forest have this year? Clean sheets.
Out of their um,
What's it? 19 games. 19
19
games.
games, probably 5.
Tied with Liverpool on 8,
Mm,
the highest.
Yeah,
Once again, you get strikers on form, and you got to go
yeah.
keep making saves and keeping clean sheets. You are where
Yeah.
you are, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Looking at a team like Chelsea, they going into the just before the Christmas break, all the pundits were talking about the fact that they had a chance to close in on Liverpool at the top of the table, but back-to-back losses, and today's loss was really, really a shocking one because of where Ipswich were and are in the relegation zone, and they
hmm
come away with a 2-0 win. I mean,
I
Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
Antoine, did you see the game, Antoine?
No, I didn't. I was watching the other mess
Yeah.
up.
I started watching it, right. So what I think happened between the 2 games I saw today, I think the coaches got the lineup wrong.
mm,
Chelsea
Mm,
looked like they set a few of their
mm,
main players, right?
yes, yeah,
Because it was Ipswich,
yes.
and they got jumped on.
That's been the talk after the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty, and they
Did
got
they
jumped on.
underestimate? Did the coaching staff underestimate
I believe they did.
the opponents?
I believe
mm.
they did. It
Mm,
was that
mm,
simple. I
I,
believe
I,
they did.
yeah,
When you look
that's a
when
good
Chelsea
point.
left out their one of their leading strikers, Jackson, right?
mm-hmm.
They left him out. Gusto, who's been really playing really well for him,
Right.
uh, and then also Reece James was on the bench, and also Sancho on the bench. But when
Mm,
you leave Gusto, especially Gusto and Jackson, who's been really firing
right.
between Jackson and Palmer, really been firing for him. Yeah, it's. But once again, during this Christmas period, you gotta rotate, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
why they did it.
Yeah.
Right? You have to
Yeah.
rotate.
Yeah,
These guys are playing every third day, every fourth day.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it's taxing on the body, and really, like, a lot of these guys, and we'll talk about it down the road, as well as guys in their last season of contract. That's on the mind, that's on the body, that's on, so much stuff going on, because the English Premier Division is a business for not only the people that own the clubs, it's a business for
hmm
the players too,
Mhm.
because they that's how they make their living. And you look at that, and coaches make decisions, live with them and die with them, kind of thing. We've seen managerial changes. A few have worked so far, and quite a few haven't worked so far. But we still have a second half of the season, and like you say, Juggler, you're just an injury away, or somebody catching fire that can change the entire look of where you finish the season.
Right.
So
You mentioned players just now, Earl. Just think about it. I think you're about a week away from the transfer window.
that's
So,
right. No. 2 days.
so,
No, no, no. Today, yeah.
2 days.
so sometimes they're putting players in the shopping window too.
Well, we've seen that happen already. I mean, coaches in these last few days being interviewed have been not actually naming people, but throwing out hints that yeah, we're gonna be in the shop. We have to strengthen our teams, and that means if you look at it, in order to pick up somebody's got to go.
No, and you're right about that. 'Cause like I said, three more days, and some earners are starting to collect that dough, trying to pick up what they can pick up to try to see what they can get out there.
Yeah,
So
how much can I get for this person if I need to get this person?
yeah,
And all that negotiation goes on around the table, and then obviously the player has to agree whether or not he wants to go to that club, or all that type of stuff goes on, and you negotiate your pay and all of that. So over this next week, it's going to be really, really interesting, because come January 1st, when that transfer window opens, everybody be looking to see who will be the first person to go somewhere. And it's funny, you talk about the Nottingham Forest striker, Juggler.
Yep.
His being haunted by 3 clubs.
Yep.
So now, I mean, what does he do? What does Forest do? Do they cash in, or do they try to keep him, to the end of the season?
It's what you call leverage now, Earl.
Well, yeah.
So leverage for renegotiating. Now let's go back to the table. Who wants to extend his contract?
But then it's again, a player must sit down and look at the system in which the club that wants him is playing. Does it suit me? Do I fit into? Can I leave this club and fit right into another club and be able to be given the opportunities, the chances, and all of that with the system they play? Because realistically, some players go and they look like they've never seen a football before, because they're playing out of position, and the style of play which the club that they're going to just don't suit them.
Interesting system, just go ahead, Antoine.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
It's a system, right? Because that's been talked a lot for probably last year or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of coaches coming in, a lot of change over a lot of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of coaches coming in, bringing in a new system. I think the fact that now that owners, I'm gonna say owners, have less patience with coaches and systems.
Yeah.
Right. So for a player to say, "Let me go play for Earl because I know the system that he plays," I don't care if Earl won the champion league last year. You might be going by Christmas this year.
Yeah.
So that system that you, like you said, you based your career. Let me go to Earl because I can fit his system. Now you got a new coach coming in, and you do not fit at all.
Yeah.
And we've seen that now. I mean, back then, Arsene Wenger, he played a 4-4-2. You know what and that was almost 20 years of it.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing. So players know if they can fit his system even before they even got there, and they know he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Look at the overhaul they done at Newcastle. Look at the overhaul they done at Arsenal. Look at the overhaul they done at Chelsea. Obviously, what they're trying to do in United, but
we'll get to that.
They're not gonna be on TV come soon. Another 2 weeks, Antoine, you're gonna have to. I don't know how you're gonna be able to find a Manchester United game because nobody's gonna watch that.
Oh shoot! You know what? No, but my question is, not question, but my comment is, look at who has in the January transfer, like who hasn't any big names that has ever come from, transfer in middle of the season in January. Hardly you don't get them big name teams, big name players that move in January. You always see them. You always hear them that they're rated. It's once on a blue moon that you get that good player that's coming from, that can take over and be straight into the team. So January, it's a try. I think Manchester United had one with Michael Carrick. I think Michael Carrick was a January transfer, so it can work, but also it can not work.
Yeah, but a lot of it depends on what you're willing to give up and when you're willing to give it up. You know what I mean? So in the summer, you might be able to get rid of 8 guys to get 1 guy, but then you still have time to get at least 5 other guys in. But if you do that in January, if you have to give up 8 to get 1, now your squad is even weaker. And as the season goes on, where are you going to get those extra guys from? So it's more of, you have to look at it and say, well, we want to get this guy, but we'll have to wait to the end of the season to negotiate other people's contracts and do the business in the off season, whatever that might look like.
And I think that's better. I really do think that's better, because now you're coming into a team. Like Douglas said, you're coming a different system. So now I would if I was a free agent, I wouldn't even tell my agency, don't even look at January. I'm gonna say look at summer, because now that I can come in, do what I have to do, I've got a whole year to basically do what I have to do. So I can come in, practice a whole full preseason practice. Then you might not even have practice. You're gonna have regular practice. So it's hard to gel for a team, for a player, a free agent to just come in and make an impact on a team.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, Earl. So the new coach at United, right? He's just come in. What? No, it's on a bad run right now, right?
Yeah.
5 of the last 6 and lost or something like that.
Yeah, it's 11 games. Yeah, something like that.
For the sake of argument, right? Let's say they lose another 5 of the next 6. Do you think United's going to want to keep him?
The management won't, and the fans are already ready to.
So that would mean, for the sake of for this argument, that would mean another coach at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
With another system.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
He needs time. You have to see what happens in January. What type of players, right? But once again, you've seen where if you're not going to be committed to this guy for 2 years, then how much money can you give him in January?
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll pick this up again. Let's take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation, because it is a very interesting conversation with that January window opening in 2 days. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this? This holiday season, Lindo's is making shopping easier than ever. Introducing Drop It's fresh new website launching December 3rd. Shop your favorite Lindo's grocery online anywhere on the island and have them delivered right to your door. This year, stay fresh for the holidays with Drop It. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tailed fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, godly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day, for over 135 years, it's been clear, British silence for the Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian.
and welcome back. Well, let's jump right back into that conversation, because when we start looking at the mid-season transfer window, it makes it that much more interesting. There were quite a few names bouncing around just today. Watching Sky Sports, they were naming guys that from teams that are having a good season, and they have standouts that the top teams want to grab them, are interested in them. But again, you have to look at what you have to give up to get them.
And that's correct. And look, like I said, the players that are being, some clubs are dropping. Some clubs are dropping players like, you know what, I don't even want to, don't come back. Like, find somewhere else to go. Like, I'm going to say for Manchester United, that's it, Anthony, Marcus Rashford, players like that, top players like him play somewhere else under a different system to tell them to go, so, or to find some other club to go to. But yeah, it's quite a few, and it's some names that will be bringing out during the summer that are still being named for, that didn't go there, that didn't step there for team that signed that contract, are still trying to get pitched out in January's transfer.
I saw you wanted to get in on something, Doug. Yeah.
No, I mean, you mentioned something about some teams that Antonio, you talking about some teams that surprises trying to get rid of some player or not able to renegotiate or extend their contracts. And I look at someone like Saliba from Arsenal, right? Real Madrid, breathing on their neck. I was hoping they can. Arsenal hope. I would say that I hope they can keep him, because we saw what Arsenal was without him last year when he had his injury, right? Van Dijk still hasn't signed. He hasn't signed his extension yet. But Salah hasn't signed his extension yet. The rumors are now that it's close, so that's probably going to ease up a lot of Liverpool fans' worries. But there's two players out of that team. What would that team look like then? They've done good recently in important guys in, but those have been the two cornerstones of the success the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah. So when you look at those type of players, I mean, there's fringe players, like you said, the Rashards, the Anthonys, and a lot of these other guys who are in and out of teams. Are they moving the needle? Probably not right now. For them, it's more of, I'm thinking those contracts are more of pricing, really. Can teams afford them to pay what these guys are getting, right? Yeah. And that's, some of these teams are not as big as, to take on a weekly salary of Rashford. I think it's getting paid.
And that's a big challenge.
Yeah, that's remember, these contracts are all guaranteed. Yeah. It's not like NFL where it's not guaranteed. These contracts are guaranteed.
350,000 pounds a week.
A week. So does he have to play?
But you know what? And I might be wrong in my view. I might be right in my view. But this is my view. I honestly think that in the Manchester United food, the coach singled out two players and have made them the scapegoats of what's been happening of late. And by not even picking them in the squad, excluding them out of everything. I mean, Rashford was in the team today, but was on the bench. He's been like the scapegoat of everything that's going wrong at Manchester United, and he hasn't played in 5 games.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of stories running around, right? And I don't think there's decisions are made based on play, right? There's been a lot of rumors of off the field stuff, right?
Right.
Lack of focus off the field, and I remember even with Ten Hag, can't remember what it was, but he took a vacation, too drunk to play a game, stuff like that, right? It's these things happen. These guys are human, but at the end of the day, the coach said, "This is I don't stand for this." Remember a few years ago we told about Tom Coughlin in the New York Giants, right? He told us something coming to change the culture. Some things are just going to stand for.
Yeah.
So
But the problem with that is, Jay, I think the way it was handled was he handled it in the public as opposed to just dealing with it behind. You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, it's pros and cons to that because you if you handle it in the public, right?
Mm.
You can also be sending a message to the rest of the team too.
Yeah, but there's ways to send messages to the team within the team.
Some coaches do that. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Some coaches.
And 9 times out of 10, what happens is the coach most majority of the time ends up losing the changing room.
It's. I mean, you saw it. Well, very similar to Ronaldo with Ten Hag.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's. Everybody has a different way of dealing stuff,
right? And obviously, the new coach from Manchester United wanted to stamp his authority and make sure that everybody understood he was the coach. And,
Earl,
let's be honest. That's the way he thought to handle it.
Let's be honest, Earl. If Rashford was scoring goals like he should be, you think we could have this conversation?
Not at all.
No, but let me say one thing. Let me step in. If Rashford has been a problem with every single coach, from Jose Mourinho, from Oli, from Ratliff, and even Ten Hag. He's been a problem in the changing room. I'll put it this way: Manchester United had a little, person that's been telling everybody inside the changing room. That's Rashford. It's been Rashford. Rashford and Garnacho is the two people that's been telling everybody outside the media of what's going on inside the changing room. So it's something big. It's something big. And even look at Rashford, his last international break, he was supposed to be in training, but he's watching the Knicks play in Madison Square Garden. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that's going on with Rashford right now, mentally and outside of football.
Earl, I'll tell you something, Earl. I'll tell you somebody who tried, I won't say tried to do something like this, but who had some issues off the pitch. We're talking about United. Wayne Rooney. Ferguson said, check you later.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney took a sabbatical and went to the States.
Right.
That sort of got himself together to come back because Ferguson said, I'm not dealing with that.
Right.
Yeah. David Beckham's one of them.
Yeah. So
if I get to David Beckham, the club is not big enough for you. Check you later.
And he did it in the public. So
exactly.
It doesn't work. But what I'm saying, Earl, if we know across all sports, if the players are on form, some things you just allow.
Yeah. That's human nature.
Or you turn a blind eye to, right?
Yeah. That's the human nature of the way things are good. I mean, if you look at it, if Liverpool wasn't having the season they was having right now, would as much talk be about around these three guys' contracts? You know, after every game, it's because they're playing so well, and two of the three have been very instrumental in what their success, or visibly instrumental. Not saying that the fullback hasn't been, but every time they're in front of a microphone, they're ass, and so is the coach. Everybody keeps dodging and ducking and weaving and so forth. But if they were mid-table, if they were having the season that Manchester City was having right now, oh my gracious, it'd be a totally different story because nobody would even worry about those contracts. Let it run out. Let them go.
Going by then.
Yeah.
I get it. It's just amazing how each ownership, how they value systems, and how much money they're willing to support a system.
Right.
I mean, we could talk about, like I said, what's on the field, but that's what the transfer market is about. Who can we bring in to give us either chance to win or chance to stay up? Most teams, if they're just in mid-table, they're not really going to be making any major moves.
Right.
Unless they think they can get into a Champions League spot. Other than that.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, Jay, because this has been a very interesting scenario. We've seen Liverpool beat West Ham on over the weekend or yesterday, whatever, 5-0, and the West Ham fans continuously boo the team when the game is over. West Ham in 13th place in the table, right?
Yeah.
And they played. We would all have to agree the hottest team right now in the league. They're averaging 4 or 5 goals a game. You lose to them at home 5-0. I mean, try to understand what I'm trying to understand. What the displeasure is with the fans.
Earl. So I'll ask you a question, Earl. Are you a fan of West Ham?
No.
That's the answer.
But I'm asking because
fans have a lot higher expectations of the team.
Well, yes.
Than reality, right? And that's just it. I mean, realistically, and hopefully he gets speedy recovery. But without Antonio there, they need. That's
broken leg. His season's over.
That's over.
His season's over.
So anybody from the outside looking in and saying, without him, what's the chances you really being above where you are?
Yeah. And
that's
the funny part is they struck the upright 3 times. So it just weren't that day.
They won 3 goals. They didn't want 3
Moody goalpost.
I mean, the goalpost today got tatted all over the United game. But the referee got subbed off after 30-some minutes, and the crowd applauded.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
No. And how fair would it be to him? Where the action, like I said, I think the coach put out a bad team.
Yeah,
he got sacrificed.
Yeah,
right. Two
United?
guys ain't got basically sharing one leg to get around the pitch.
So let's look at this now, Juggler. The next time this guy actually plays, how does he react to? How does the fans react to him, or how does he react to the fans? Because, to be honest, when he got substituted after 33 minutes, you'd have thought it was a person team player going off having a bad game. The way you know what I mean?
It depends on how you look at it. Like I said, if you understand if it's a tactical move, then it's a tactical move, right? And that's what it was today. It wasn't so much for him because he really didn't get much of the ball, right?
Right.
So it wasn't by on performance. It was a tactical problem from the coach. Now, as you know, especially football, you come on and score the next game, all is forgotten.
Yeah.
The problem is he ain't been scoring.
That's exactly. He has to score.
Yeah. Very, very, very. I mean, if we look at it, it's interesting times in for everyone. We take a look at a team like Aston Villa. They played today. They ended up with a draw. They were down 1-0, came back to lead 2-1, and then Brighton scored again. But they find themselves in ninth in the top 10. 8 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses. 29 points. They're right with Fulham, who have 29. But Fulham's won 7, drawn 8, and lost 4. These are the teams that are in the top 10, and then when we start talking about season teams, Tottenham 11, Brentford 12, West Ham 13, Manchester United 14. You're not used to, especially Tottenham, and Tottenham's usually in the top 10. West Ham's usually, Manchester United's usually in the top 10. West Ham have always been lingering between 10 and 15. But then look at the shocking results this past weekend under new management, Wolves have resurged. You know, it's been like a shining bright light. But I say that, and I say, can you remember when the Manchester United coach took over the first 4 games? He had 2 wins and a draw and a loss, right?
Yep.
And now he's on this bad run because now everybody's comfortable with what's been done, and things are not looking so. Wolves have to be careful that they need to make sure that they continue their run to get out of the trouble they're in the Premier Division. Right now they're in 17th with 16 points, 1 point behind Everton. Ipswich with their win today on 15 points. Leicester City with a new manager. It hasn't worked for them as of yet. The former interim manager of
I believe he won his first game.
Yeah.
He won his first game.
Yeah.
Well, he's played Liverpool. I think he played Chelsea or City. He played City. So Leicester City has played top-notch players, top-notch teams in the last 5, I would say. So I can't really count on the Jota. I can't say, for Leicester City, Rui's what he's got to do, because he still basically can come out and win, do what he has to do in his next.
Yeah, he just got Vardy back as well. Vardy's been
exactly. Vardy put out a good show the other day against City. So yeah.
So you were talking about these mid-table teams, though, Earl. You could basically throw a blanket over and you catch about 6 of them. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, 10 weeks ago, the Tottenham fans were on a high. Ask Gary Rayner.
Yeah.
and this is what I've been saying all this time. I said from the beginning, the English Premier League is any given Sunday, any given Saturday. Like, you don't know who you're gonna get, who you're gonna win. If y'all a betting man, and if you come out on top with all your picks, y'all a good betting man. Because trust me, I can't see, saying Leicester City versus Nottingham Forest, how Leicester City is and Nottingham Forest is. 3-1 Leicester City. You see what I'm saying? Or Manchester United versus Liverpool. And where Manchester United is right now, where Liverpool is, Manchester United comes out with the first victory. Could happen on Sunday. Manchester could cut the home. And I'm hoping this time Manchester United could win on Sunday against Liverpool. And then what's happened? He's beat City, he's beat Liverpool. Now the managers are now in the good books. See what I'm saying? It's any given Sunday in English Premier League, and that's why some people love the English League, because compared to the English League, because compared to the Spanish League, when you just have three or four odd teams, the German League you have 2 teams. Exactly, you have 2 teams. Yeah. EPL has 20 teams. 20 teams that can come out and top of the table can lose to the bottom of the table. So honestly, that's why I love it, and that's why some people love the English Premier League.
Yeah. Well, let's take our second commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation about the EPL and, of course, look at some more of the results. And then we get into the Bermuda overseas players that took part this past weekend. We'll be right back.
Over the pink sands, beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tailed fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear. It's silence for League Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. This is silence proudly Bermudian.
putting down the weapons.
Are you seeing this?
This holiday season, we gather with grateful hearts to celebrate the gifts of family, friends, and faith. Lindo's is here to help you fill your home with warmth and joy, from traditional holiday dishes to festive treats that make every gathering special. However you celebrate, let's help make it memorable. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back, Juggler. Before we switch back to the local players overseas, out of all the results thus far, this up through the Christmas and even up to today, which result stands out for you as the biggest surprise?
That's a good one. This last week, not much is surprising this last week. I mean, anything that really surprised me is that when Liverpool dropped points, not this week, last week, nobody was able to capitalize on them, right?
Right.
That's anything that really surprising. But when you look at City getting back on winning terms, expected, yeah. The draws between Fulham and Bournemouth and Spurs and Wolves. I would believe Spurs and Wolves may be a surprise of sort.
Right.
But it's not much. United losing to Newcastle, not really a surprise. Ipswich probably.
Yeah, well, my surprise is that the two results that Chelsea had over the period, with the opportunity to close in the gap on Liverpool.
That's right. Where they had the opportunity to go, but coming up, and I'm just scanning forward, just coming up, Earl. I mean, the game on Wednesday it is with Arsenal and Brentford. Arsenal away. Then they come around and play on Saturday against Brighton away again.
Right.
That could be two tricky games. With
those two teams. And Brentford at home that's been a fortress for them.
Well,
they've gotten 19 out of 21 points at the home ground.
And they had Tottenham, I believe. Spurs play Newcastle.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Antoine, what would you say would be your surprise result?
Tottenham or Wolves, I would say. Tottenham or Wolves, that was a surprising. Wolves for me, basically these files has been surprising. Not Manchester United because I expected them to beat Manchester United. But other than that, they've been pretty good. But Wolves, Ipswich today against Chelsea, that was too surprising. Honestly, I wouldn't expect Chelsea to basically lay on to Ipswich. Mind you, the game was in Ipswich, but honestly, I thought Chelsea would at least put up a better fight than what they did.
Yeah.
But Wolves have been surprising me. The Ipswich Chelsea game was the game that I would pick.
Yeah. Well, quickly turning our attention to our overseas players, Bermuda overseas players. They've had a busy period. If we turn our attention to matches that took place on Boxing Day. Naki was an unused sub in Bristol City's 1-0 win over Luton. Cole Hall had his match on Boxing Day for Chorley against Radcliffe. The match was abandoned due to an electrical power issue at halftime. Keziah Martin was on the field for Rush Hall. They went down 2-0 to Oxford City. Harry Twite was playing for Loughborough Student FC, and they had a convincing 4-0 win over Welborough Town FC. Milan Butterfield, he's had his coach resign before Boxing Day. They've been having a rough time of late. Kane Critchlow's Chelmsford City secured a valuable 1-0 victory over Welling United. Willie Clemens and his Felixstowe and Walton FC teammates battled hard for a hard-fought 1-0 win against Ipswich Wonders FC, and Reggie Lamb played out to a 2-2 draw with Needham Market against Kingsland Town. Mazai Simmons and his Hucknall Town teammates, they suffered a 1-0 defeat to Kimberley. That was on Boxing Day, the actual Boxing Day matches for the overseas players. And then they had some other matches throughout. Reserve Smith Jones and Coolidge Fubler, they're playing for Binfield FC. Reserve has been on a tear these last couple of games. He's been finding the net. He scored 2 goals in the previous game and then ended up scoring a goal in this game where they won 4-1. As we know, Coolidge is the goalkeeper with, well, a PhD player, PhD goalkeeper, but over in the UK now. Milan Butterfield with his new coach, they went down 3-1 to Worksop Town FC. Willie Clemens and his Felixstowe Walton teammates took on Reggie Lamb's Newmarket Town teammates. Reggie Lamb was not in the team for this match, but Willie Clemens did play, and they came out with a 4-0 victory. We had Nakey and Bristol City were in action again. They came up with a 3-0 victory just yesterday. Nakey was part of the set up the second goal, and Luke Robinson scored the White Hawk winner. Came off the bench. They were down to 10 men, and he ended up scoring the White Hawk winner as they won their latest match, 2-1. So it's been a busy schedule for the local players, and still more to be played. We reported where Zico Lewis was not in the initial players that the Union of Omaha had kind of protected at the end of the season. He even mentioned it to me on another show where, actually to us on this one, that, negotiations are underway and he'll wait and see what happens. But, I honestly think that they're going to want to keep most of that team together. The fact that they were champions, they'll want to keep some of those players, especially those vital players. And I think when he did get going, he became a vital player for that club. Just talking about that, we've been talking about the English transfers and contracts and so forth. What's your thoughts on that, Juggler?
Yeah, I'm actually got my fingers crossed for Zico, man. I would love to see him regain another contract, especially off the success that they had last year, right? Last season. But also for other players over in the UK, it's crunch time, right? Because now you're looking at even somebody like Nakey.
Yes.
They're mid-table. They're mid-table. They're probably about 5 odd points away from the playoff, area.
Yes.
But still, hard decisions have to be made on what directions they want to go in.
Right.
And he's not, and he mentioned it on, he's not getting any younger either. So what is their, what do they want as a player? What do they want as a striker? Which direction are they going in? So
right.
Yeah, it's these are times where you probably just have to do what you can on the field and let your agent deal with everything else.
Right. Yeah.
If you used to pay attention to the rumors and the papers, and we talk about how much the English press is.
Yeah,
the English press can depress you.
Anton, there's another story out there about former international, Bermuda international, Connor Smith. He had a remarkable first season at Rhode Island. how does he emulate that this first season? I mean, made it to the championship, won the Eastern Conference. They open up a new stadium coming up at the start of next season. It's a lot of expectation, and the fact that he's not only the coach, he's the general manager as well.
How can you top it? Win it again. Do it again. Like one more can you do? He has to. Like you said, it's all on. So he has to do it. He has to win it. You know, he can't try not one bit. Losing the semifinals or even losing the finals. You know, he has to win it all. You know, there's no going down for him. It's all going up. So that honestly, I think he can do it. I think really O'Connell can do it. He has to, you know, as the general manager, he would have to do some adjustments, some add-ons, you know, subtractions and all that math terms. He would have to do it, and I think he can do it. So honestly, I think O'Connell can do much even better, because I think in the league standards, what did they come in the league standards? Do you remember?
I think second in their division or third, something like that.
So they got to win the division now.
They won the Eastern Conference, yeah.
Eastern Conference, but now you got to win your division. You got to win your division and win your Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Going back to Nicky Wells, I'll give you a story of Nicky Wells. I remember the last time he was in these talks, and this was for a Gold Cup when we played in the Gold Cup, and I was privileged of traveling with the national team. And this is a funny story because I always tell him, and I take to him, and we both have a laugh about it. Every time Nicky Wells, every time Bermuda finished playing, the 3 games that we played, every time we came off, and he was good. What was the question that they always asked Nicky Wells? Where are you to? Where you want to go to? What is next for Nicky Wells? And the funny thing about it is, our last game in New Jersey, I said to Nicky Wells, I said Nicky, when he was, I said Nicky, so where are you going next? He looked at me. He's like, Gussie, you're serious? I said, I'm just saying what everybody else is saying. But no, I think the key has it. You know, yes, he can. His time is ticking. His time is ticking. But he still can give something. You know, he still can come off the bench and give that energy. If he don't have to start, he can still come off the bench and give energy. So he's what, 33, 34, 33?
33, yeah.
So 33. So he began his 34th year next year. So honestly, I give Nicky at least until his 36, 35, 36 to start thinking about packing it in. You know, too bad he can't be like in the NBA, take these 1-year deal contracts every year, sign a year contract every year, and then see what's up. But honestly, and with the injury that is coming on right now, he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Nicky will get something. Nicky will stay where he is. Reggie, they will be all staying. Zico, I really hope that Zico. I want Zico to see something in the English or the European side than United States. That's my goal for Zico, to see him in England, or at least in Scotland, or somewhere other than the MLS or US. So,
yeah.
mind you.
Douglas, let me ask you, talking about Kano, do you think now he will get respect of what he was able to do with that team, especially when they started their preseason here in Bermuda and took on the national select teams and was able to really, you know, show what they were made of, you know? And I think a lot of people wouldn't have shown up to those games because they lacked the respect of the American football.
Well, first things first, he needs to come back with the team because obviously we were good luck for him. So I think
yeah, they're coming back. They're coming back.
That needs to happen again, right?
Yeah, that's already in the works.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? Obviously, we a good luck, right?
Our boys need a practice game before Honduras. So still good one.
Yeah, I think Earl, the respect thing is a little bit different. Depends on how you look at it, right? Me personally, it's sort of like this year. What was the expectation for the team?
For Connor's team?
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, I think it was purely let's try to win stuff, but I don't think where they went.
My point is now that you've won,
yeah,
the expectations now you got the bullseye on your back, So it'd be interesting after this year. I think he'll probably garner the respect that you're probably asking about now, right?
Right.
After this, because now you can say, okay, you know what, he's done it multiple times. Because some people just think it was a fluke. We knew how people are, right?
Right.
But it'd be interesting, like I said, how they manage the success this year and going forward. Because now also other teams would have played them now a few times. We'll get to know the players and so it's a little bit different now with the expectations. Be interested to hear what his expectations would be now, because I'm pretty sure they'd be a little bit different than they would beginning of the season.
Yeah. Well, we'll see him on island. I believe it's March or April. Preseason for them. He's already done his initial list for players returning, and obviously he's looking for new players, and they'll have open trials and so forth. And he'll be busy now in the office as the GM, and then he'll get back to the business as the coach.
I know a left for the player, Connor. I know a left for the player. His name's Zico.
What's his name?
Just thought I'd throw it out there for you, Connor.
Yeah. Well, obviously, again, come Wednesday, it's a whole host of English games. It's a whole host of us, our Bermudian players, also in action. As tradition is in the UK, there's a lot of football being played on New Year's Day, and then we have the weekend. So very interesting matchups. I know everybody's got their eye on that Liverpool Manchester United game.
Be hard to watch.
Well, some people's got their hands over their eyes. Other people are praying, and other people are licking their chops. So next Monday we'll be here to talk about what happened in that match and plus other matches, and we'll see if Arsenal can close the gap on Liverpool and what happens with Liverpool, getting into the second half of the season. So,
Earl, one quick question before you go, Earl.
Sure.
What's the word on our ladies over in the UK playing? I haven't seen too many results of our ladies. Are they out of season?
Well, they're on a break right now. The women are on a break right now. They kick back in the second week in January. So as we know, still currently Sean is the acting manager for Aston Villa's ladies, and we have possibly, I believe I cover something like 8 or 9 different ladies playing over in the UK presently. So once they kick back in, I believe it's January, about the second week of January, that weekend, we'll be having updates on them on this particular show on Monday evenings as well. So looking at everybody playing, we like to make sure that we cover everybody and not just our cousins or our family friends and so forth. Yeah. All right.
Hey guys, if I get to see you guys tomorrow,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
All the best.
You got a long day, juggler. So get your rest.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys. Antoine, I'll see you on what's that day? Yeah, Thursday? Yeah. What's it? Wednesday? Yeah.
Wednesday, yeah.
I know what days are right now. Like, really.
Yeah. Just go with the flow. Look at your book each morning.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening. I read the notifications anymore. Okay, that's where we are.
All right, guys. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining, folks. We'll be back next week, Monday, the first Monday in January, with another edition of the EPL and Bermuda Overseas Footballers show right here on islandstats.com. Good night.
Good night.
Happy New Year to you all.